To just have a look at what is going to be told to us by this board, Heidi. It's a messy situation. The CEO is out, and on the back of that, there is now talk of some kind of an investigation, reports suggesting that he may be investigated for the resignation letter that was leaked, his resignation letter that was leaked. What is this board going to say?
Well, we would hope that they're going to have a plan of action. The big question is, why is he being investigated for his resignation letter? The board should rather be focusing on what the plan of action is going forward, who will take over Jahana, will they let him go, and will he serve his term until the end of August? This is an airline that has been struggling to make profit since 2011. They've had government bailouts year after year. They have a turnaround strategy that requires 21 billion rand that National Treasury is refusing to give any more money to the airline because they're saying that it's just not viable. The government does not have money to keep pumping into this. But now it seems as though there's an ongoing battle between the resignation letter and the SAA board, where there seems to be an investigation going on now. A Mail and Guardian article that was released yesterday alludes to the fact that there is an investigation going on because it seems as though the board believes Jahana released his resignation letter, and that resignation letter, he was told that he needs to alter it and not list all those reasons as to why he can't do his job. Yeah, so we will be asking the board, you know, what did you want the resignation letter to say, and is there really an investigation going on into Jahana, and why? Because you should be focusing on having somebody head up this very troubled airline. Yeah,
very interesting. I mean, the wording there is that the board, well, the reports, if are anything to go by, suggest that the tone of the letter should really have been toned down. Perhaps suggestions that he should have resigned, citing ill health. It's very interesting. Talk to us about the Trade Union Federation, NUMSA. That union, it's threatening to go on strike if Jahana's resignation is not reversed. How serious are they?
It's very serious, and we're hoping that the unions will actually be at this media briefing today to get a sense of what their plan of action is. But they announced earlier this week that they are planning to down tools if Jahana's resignation letter is not rescinded. They do not want him to leave the airline. There's also an association that's come out saying we don't want him to leave. And I think this speaks to the fact that Jahana has always tried to ensure that salaries are paid on time. I mean, even in his resignation letter that was supposedly leaked, he mentioned the fact that he's always tried to make sure that there's money available to pay salaries on time. This has been an ongoing issue where pilots have said that they are not being paid on time and so forth. So the unions will have to elaborate on whether or not they will down tools and when this will actually happen.
Yeah, in fact, it's mentioned there that nearly 3 instances where salaries were nearly not paid. Heidi, we know that the CEOs of these state-owned companies met with the president this week, perhaps to be reassured somewhat. Talk to us about what came out of that meeting.
Well, it's very important for SOEs to be functional and not to constantly rely on government guarantees, government bailouts. And this is something that has always been flagged by rating agencies. The fact that SOEs rely heavily on government to bail them out, rely heavily on government to keep them afloat. And this shouldn't be the case. And the only reason why this is basically happening is because they've been mismanaged. There hasn't been proper boards in place. Whereas you hear the president saying that we're trying to get everything in order. We need to reassure the public and rating agencies, investors, and whoever is concerned that we are trying to deal with this matter. But when you have 2 CEOs of very big and vital SOEs in this country resigning within 2 weeks, it says something. It sends a message. I mean, the resignation letter of Jahana did not say that he's sick and he needs to spend time with his family. It rather spoke to serious, fundamental and deep-rooted issues within SAA that he's picked up, and basically saying he can't do his job. Whereas Phakamani Khadebe says he's sick and he needs to step aside. So one needs to ask the question, what is actually going on in these SOEs, and is it really that difficult to run?
And was Phakamani Khadebe really sick? If if we get information like this now. But again, we have to make sure that we tell the viewers that these are reports that, of course, have yet to be confirmed. And indeed, these are just some of the questions that we're hoping you and other journalists will be posing to that board of SAA. Thank you very much, Heidi Jokos. She'll be heading out to that media briefing. Starts at 10:30.
Yes, 10:30 today.
Fantastic. All right. We're hoping to bring that media briefing live as and when it does happen.